Let the bass kick.
I'll go over
Whoa,
here.
we're live. Whoa.
No, we're not live.
We're not sailors here.
There's no way we're live right now. He would tell us.
I think he just did. I think
What
we're
up?
live. Look behind
What
me.
up?
What?
What up?
Yo.
Music City Disc Golf. What up, Nashville?
What up, Nashville?
Frisbee Fanatics. I'm Will McCaskill. That's Marcus.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
Marcus.
Rogers. Over there is Jay Skinner.
How'd it go?
The handsome young man next to Jay is Andrew Lamont.
What's going on, everybody?
All right.
Andrew is a newer member of our community, and he's running an event upcoming on July 25th.
Yeah, 25th, yep.
Called the Battle of Music City. We're going to talk to him a little bit about that tonight. So, we'll give him a chance to introduce himself and talk about where the idea came from for the Battle of Music City after we get through the preliminaries. So, Jay, we missed you last week.
Yeah.
Apparently, you slipped into a coma.
I did.
That's what I
like
heard.
A temporary coma for a little while. Dude, I just crashed out. I didn't have Adeline. I can see you over there. It's just a little bit blocked. But I didn't have Adeline with me after school or after
Probably
work
turn that
day.
monitor.
And I will in a second. But anyway, took a nap and woke up about midnight 30 and was like, I missed the podcast, and Ashley was, I tried to wake you up. I don't remember any of it. I was just out.
That's just proof that you're a hard-working man.
Some days I feel like it.
Yeah.
By the
Some
way,
days,
shout
hard
out to Jay's better half, Ashley,
Yeah.
for always trying to save the podcast. We appreciate it.
Yeah, she's got her priorities straight, bro.
Yep.
Podcast.
She's a little more committed than you at this point. I'll just put it that way.
You didn't see it, but the brisket I brought over on the foil, she actually wrote you a heart and put Ashley for you guys.
Aww.
She was like, so they know I slaved over it. And I was like, oh yeah, you did.
Dude, Ashley, we love you. Girl.
Much
She
love.
wrapped it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, also, we're introducing a new feature to the podcast this week. This is episode 87, by the way, you guys. It is Monday, June 29th. Here in the beautiful Music City. Jay, as usual, is making a whole lot of ruckus.
Sorry. Now I can see
Sorry.
Marcus, and it's better for
So
flow.
sorry.
Better for feng shui, if you will.
Yeah, but the new feature to the Music City Disc Golf podcast is the timeout chair.
The timeout.
And
Are we really? It's gonna be a permanent.
guess who's in the timeout chair this week, guys?
That's messed up.
There's Trey Batson
I
over
can't
there
see
in the
him. Your
timeout
boom,
chair.
Your boom mic's in the way, or your mic boom is in the way.
He's already been instructed that he's not allowed to talk.
And he only gets out once the podcast is over.
Yep.
He hasn't talked the entire time.
The terms of his timeout have been. I'm not getting
Cold-blooded.
I'm not getting enough
Cold-blooded
of
you are.
the beauty of Marcus.
Oh, I'm here.
He's over there.
There we go. There's Marcus. So yeah, Trey Batson is in the timeout chair, also known as the guest chair, maybe in other circumstances. If it was somebody of less disrepute, shall we say? I'm just kidding.
Man.
We love you, Trey. I just like to I like to play with you a little bit, but. If you'd like to sit in the timeout chair, just holler at us. MCDG podcast at
You guys can
gmail.com.
maybe you guys can auction that off. Get some
We
more.
should.
Get
That'll
some
be a
more fun.
giveaway.
like
Hey,
it.
100th episode
Yeah.
giveaway.
Yeah.
You
can
get
sit
a
there
free
and
pass
watch.
to sit in the
Sit in the
timeout
timeout
Do
chair.
not
chair.
speak. Do not speak unless spoken to.
I totally didn't see this coming. That's awesome.
Podcast gold, baby.
It's like
mic.
in elementary school, instead of getting SWATs, you got put up in the front of the room, had to watch everybody else.
Right. We got a bunch of people in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. We are live
yo.
on Facebook.
Facebook ho. Here we go.
Here we go. Let's get it right into the weekly break it. I can break it down. Break it. Let's break it down, guys.
Shan't we?
So here we go. Saturday, Seven Oaks doubles at 2 p.m. That is on hiatus for the time being. We had some stuff going on at Ogwood this weekend. We also have some stuff going on next weekend. We've got on Saturday, we've got Independence Dubs at White House. So Dr. John has said he's just going to go ahead and bow out. He's got some other stuff going on that he can attend to anyway. And so thank you, John, for always have the interests of the greater interests of the greater disc golf community, something. Thanks for all you do, man. We love you.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Thank you for all that stuff. Thank
Yep.
you. You're there. We see you.
That door's open. That's probably not a good look.
That's the official sign that the business is
Hey,
going down.
we always need to have somebody in the timeout chair from now on.
Put a
That's
towel.
just what it is.
That worked out. He didn't say a word.
Didn't
either.
say a
You
word.
get a free drink.
That's in his case, multiple. But yeah.
Yeah.
Trey just got a pound.
speaking of
Trey just got some
advanced
DAP, you guys.
Yeah, Marcus.
Yeah, also, you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and mention this and get it out there. Another consideration into John shutting down for the next couple weeks is just also there's been a resurgence in new COVID cases. So
Oh, man.
he is a lab scientist, and he doesn't like numbers that have bad omens attached to them, I guess is a fair way to say it. So he's just trying to be extra cautious.
Sure.
Totally get that. Totally agree with it. Totally applaud him for where his head's at on that account.
Sure.
And, I've maintained communication with all the weekly TDs and told them, if you don't feel comfortable, just all you have to do is just make an announcement. Just let it get the information out there that you're shutting down. And we got to play this thing by ear. We still have no idea what's going on with
I
this
feel like
stuff.
they're scared of the wrath of the disc golfers. If they shut it down, everybody's going to be mad at them.
Well, not everybody has the resources of the Music City
Sure.
Disc Golf Club to actually put stuff in place to make sure that the players are safe. And,
Absolutely. Speaking of, are we going to be rolling masks this weekend in the hot 4th of July?
yeah, we're going to have to.
Wear your mask while you're throwing.
Going to have to.
A mask can be pretty much anything by definition, so look that up because you can get away with some stuff probably this way because it's hot. You don't want to be.
I mean,
out there.
I want a bandana close to my face just to wipe the
Bandanas
sweat
work
off.
really good.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm playing this weekend. If I got to wear a mask, I got to wear a
Who are
mask.
you playing with?
Joe Stevens.
What?
Yeah, same as last year.
Well, regardless, you're going to have a fun round.
I sure am.
Marcus,
And we're going to look good too.
want to go this weekend?
But let's
Saturday?
get through the
Wanna go?
weekly breakdown, then we can talk about independent subs. Come on,
Right,
guys.
right.
So much going on.
There's process. So
go.
yes, no Oaks dubs for the next week or so. Sunday morning, Sunday singles with Q-Tip at Seven Oaks. That's good to go. Ace pot $200. Let's see here. We've got a little flyer there. Boom. Sunday singles at Seven Oaks. You guys can check that out right there. And Q-Tip 8:30 signups, 9:10 or so tea time. It's a good time. Go out and check it out.
Get you some money.
Get you some money. Ace
At
pot's
the
$200.
beautiful Seven
Get you
Oaks.
some money. And Sundays also usually we have 2:00 afternoon doubles at Cane Ridge with Robert Zavala, but that is also on hiatus until July 19th because of all the stuff that's going on in town. So no Cane Ridge doubles. As always, thank you to Robert Zavala for everything you do out there at Cane Ridge.
Big Z.
Big Z. Monday, we've got Squamters Ferry doubles out at Sanders Ferry Park. And that should be going on right now. And the ace pot is at $280. So get you some money. Random draw doubles. Sharp Springs. Sanders
Sanders
Ferry.
Ferry.
But also at Sharp Springs.
Yes.
Also on Monday, we do have random draw doubles at Sharp Springs. So I don't know what the ace pot is there, but it's got one. So go get you some money.
Get that ace,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
matter what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Why not?
It's the feeling of getting an ace, even if it's your 50th.
I've forgotten what that feeling.
I think somebody hit
I've forgotten
50
that
this
feeling.
weekend or something like that. I think I
Yeah.
saw.
I've hit chains, but I've just totally forgot that feeling.
They come in bunches.
It's been a long
Come
time.
in bunches of three, man. There was a guy this week at Seven Oaks that hit his third of the week.
Dude, this last episode, we had like
Yeah.
10 aces that we reported.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I think Jacob Henson
Jansen?
Jansen hit like 50 something.
He's
this
hit.
week.
He's hit 2 in the last
I
week,
got
and then he
4.
just hit another one today.
It's crazy because
He's
the guy
good and
disappears
stuff.
for a little while.
He hit
You never
7
see
at
him.
Oaks, 7 short.
He disappears into
Today.
the work life and then
Yeah.
resurfaces.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm still good. I'm Jacob. Remember
I
me?
just had to work a lot.
I'm gonna get an ace and disappear for 2 weeks.
And God love him. He never even works out, and he's got like a 6-pack like you wouldn't believe. It's like just bred into him. I'm like, man. I was like, if I could have that, I would.
He's
love
got
it.
good genes.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Strong genetics,
Jealous.
strong flick,
Break it down.
hand in hand.
Okay. Got through Monday. Tuesday night, we got Oaks doubles at 5 o'clock, and Dr. John and Mike McDaniel have taken the reins of that from Dave Griffin. Again, thank you to Dave Griffin. And
out.
the ace pot there is $200. Get you some money. 5 o'clock, 7 Oaks, Tuesday night.
It's funny he's not running it anymore, but I bet he's still there every time.
Oh, yeah, he just gets to play now
Yeah,
and not worry
exactly.
about anybody's shenanigans.
I love it.
It's great.
He deserves it.
Tuesday night, we also have Triple Creek doubles at Triple Creek Park in Gallatin with Case and Newton. Ace pot there is Captain running at $250. So get you some
Yeah.
money. Get you some money. Wednesday night, we have the Wednesday night
Tag
extravaganza. And Dr. Hoy's the man in charge out there on Wednesday nights at Seven Oaks, and that's 4:30 sign up. Everybody will be you can start playing about 5 o'clock. We'll send last group out hopefully at 5:30. And I'm not sure what the layout is this week, but the ace pot is caking at a nice fat $268, and that's uncapped. So it just gets bigger until one of you guys get you some money.
68.
Yep.
Two.
Also on Wednesday night, we've got random draw doubles at Cedar Hill with Billy Fowler and company, and that's also, get out there by 5 o'clock. You can sign up and take part in that action. Don't know what the ace pot is. Also Wednesday night, we've got Henry Horton doubles, Duck River Disc Golf presenting Henry Horton random draw doubles on Wednesday nights. I believe they got 2 bounties at $268 and another at $330, so could get you some money.
Yeah.
Thursday night, we've got White House random draw doubles at White House Park with Lance Kirby. Ace pot is kicking at a nice round $250. So get you some money. I do have a new White House Dubs flyer that
Yeah.
I have not added to my scene here.
Your clip
That's a
art?
bummer.
Your clip art there.
That's a bummer.
Speaking of White House, and home of the Independence Dubs this year.
Yep. We'll talk about that in just a second. We've also got, moving into, Thursday, we've also got random draw doubles at Barfield on Thursday nights. And then Friday nights, we've got the Two Rivers Bag Tag Series still going on until July 31st. And you guys, they are out there raising money, thanks to Donnie Bannister, Black Monocle Disc, and Zach Evans for taking charge of this project. But they're raising money to finish up all the renovations at the course. So go out there and support them on Friday nights between now and July 31st. If you're a little closer to Naval Hill this weekend, you can check out, let's see, I got a kick fly. Boom. You can check out the weekend kickoff with Jordan Webster. And they will be at Naval Hill to get some practice in for the bag tag this Friday. So you can head out there. $10 AM, 15 Pro. And that's a flyer from last week at Seven Oaks, so disregard that. But, they'll be out at Naval Hill coming up this Friday night.
I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah. Jordan's making a new flyer every week, and sometimes he doesn't post a new one, or I don't see it. So
Every week.
Jordan,
He's
one flyer,
crushing
bro.
it.
I mean, props to him on trying to clearly communicate where they're going and what they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I need one flyer I can say for the podcast, dude. Come on.
Just one.
Just one. Just one
Maybe
overall.
think ahead of time.
You can still
and
make
give
your
us
weekly
one
flyers.
flyer of all the flyers you're going to do.
Or just one flyer with the timing and
There you
say
go.
course TBD or something
I mean,
like that.
he's
I don't know.
the overachiever, man.
Yep.
So
That's your weekly breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up soon, we've got Independence Dubs at White House. I believe there's still room to sign up for that
Sign me
on
up.
Disc Golf Scene. It's going to be a good old time.
it always is. I'm super stoked. White House with red, white, and blue baskets, and Lance and Elise, they like 4th of July, and those two
It's
go
kind of the-
hand in hand.
dude, yeah.
Like straight up.
They're in the flyer.
They really do. I think of 4th of July now. I think of Lance Kirby.
They're in
and
the flyer.
Lance,
I know for
and
sure
Elise Kirby. Now.
Elise is gonna be dressed up like a flag.
Sure.
Red, white, and blue.
Lance as well.
Lance as well.
Yeah, I won't read what they're
I mean,
shirts say.
I would almost like petition that Independence Dubs just stays in White House from here on out.
I mean, it just
I would
makes
sign that
sense, dude.
petition.
It just makes sense.
They are Mr. and Miss America, if you will. When
sure.
it comes to 4th of July, they go all out. It's boss.
I love the junior course they put out there too recently, man. All
Yeah.
the short holes.
Almost
Not the
finished
old
already.
baskets,
Those
yeah.
guys are doing crazy amounts
Almost
of work.
finished already. Wow.
Yep, and we also
Super
just
cool.
got them a little bit of money to finish up all their tee pads. So they just finished putting in all their paver tee pads too. So
I
just
voted-
in time
I
for what
voted yay.
Independence Dubs.
I love
And
it. I
the
love it.
next day after Independence Dubs, we've got Event 6 in the Bag Tag Series at Naval Hill.
We got to play 2 days in a row.
Yeah,
It's a young man's game.
I mean, I'm only going to play
It
one
is.
of them.
The weekend's forecast
retired.
looking good this weekend. It looked terrible.
Did it?
Now it's supposed to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, beautiful weather.
Beautiful.
So
I like this, man.
Yeah.
I like this.
I just want you.
Coming
Way to
through
be,
with the
yeah,
big
dude.
forecast.
Good cheer, good positive omens. I like it.
Yes, yes.
Then coming up after the bag tag on the following weekend, July 11th and 10th. No, 11th and 12th.
11th and 10th.
Time doesn't move backwards, does it, you guys?
No,
we will be going out to Ogwood again for a couple days for the Straight Outta Ogwood weekend. The rescheduled date of the 6th annual All Good at Ogwood, sponsored by Flying Colors Disc Golf, will be on Saturday, July 11th. Stay tuned for more details on that, but registration is available on Disc Golf Scene. Kim and I have been talking about, I've been trying to help her figure out what she can do, what she should do in terms of making it a better, bigger event.
Absolutely.
But still protecting players. So stay tuned for more details, but like I said, we're going to be out there all weekend on the 11th and 12th. And then Sunday we have the rescheduled date for Event 3 in our bag tag series at Ogwood. So we'll be out there for Saturday and Sunday. More good times at Ogwood, which we had some of those this weekend too. Yeah, you don't need to adjust your screen. I may appear slightly pinker than usual, and that is because I actually played some disc golf this weekend, didn't I, Marcus?
What? You got some sunshine?
I saw him out there. You and J. Ray.
What?
Yep.
The old Og and the keyhole and all the joy
Speaking
brings.
of, just for clarity purpose, do you need to call Ogwood to let them know you're coming to play, or is it just full open now?
Full open.
Okay, awesome.
Hole 5 is not playable.
All right.
So for the events this weekend, we substituted hole 3A, little temp hole, Tom's Corner.
Sure.
Up there by hole 3 and 4.
I like that hole.
Yeah.
Throw it right. It's a birdie.
Yeah. Little birdie op. Yeah, so...
I'm glad you picked up on that.
You guys are no fun.
What? We're the
You
best
said
fun.
throw it right and it's a birdie.
Yeah.
It's like every hole.
Yeah, exactly.
You're saying
Throw, that's the hard part, though, is to throw
oh,
it right.
wow. I'll get the hole one if
In
I throw
theory.
it right.
The throw it
Maybe
right.
I'll get a birdie.
Maybe.
Well, that's not true. Hole 1, if you throw it right and you're
Which hole one? What course are you talking
and
about?
6 feet, that's throw it right. 6 feet inside 10 feet. I'll call it a perfect throw.
Money.
And 10 feet on hole 1, you could be blocked by a barn wall.
Yeah.
So you threw it right, but just maybe not perfect.
Oh, I went and played Ogwood this weekend.
You
Showed
did?
up exactly 2 minutes late.
Well, where was I? Because I
Thank
actually had
God.
a free day. And
Thank
didn't...
God I knew somebody who hosts a podcast that also
Jeez.
we had just interviewed J. Ray. So I can say, hey, I'm 10 minutes away. Could you possibly get me in and let me play disc golf with you guys? So we get up the hole 1 at Ogwood. And it's really funny, dude. The first thing I said was like, hey, has anybody hit an ace yet?
No,
and I
you
get
didn't.
up and I throw my H1.
What is that? I don't know what that
Whatever,
is.
it's a disc. And it flew right past the basket. Everybody's like, oh my God, you got my ace. I kid you not. If I had ace, I would have walked away.
Retired?
I would have got back in my truck and
Done.
been like, hey, you're good.
Bye, guys.
I hit an ace. Guys, I'm gone.
Going out on a strong
That's enough
note.
for me. All right, before we get
This
off the
game's
rails
too
here, because
easy.
we do have to keep kind of a schedule.
Let's go.
We do have an
Here we go.
awesome episode for you guys tonight. We are joined by somebody special that we're going to get into an event that he's got coming up around the corner on July 25th. And then we're also going to talk to Derek Scull from Gatekeeper. So, if you guys don't know Derek Scull or Gatekeeper, that's Derek Scull. And he's a member of Team Millennium Discs, and he's also the founder of Gatekeeper Media, who has been doing Disc Golf Pro Tour work this season and was also contracted to do the National Tour event series, but obviously that got pushed. So they've had an interesting year. They went full-time this year, so we'll talk to Derek about that in a minute. But Andrew Lamont, we just met recently. You joined us here in Nashville from Virginia. And you are you play in the pro division. I know that much. And
Sometimes.
Roughly based.
Sometimes.
yeah, many of us.
Locally pro. Yeah.
Many of us only
I like
do it
that. I
sometimes.
like that. Local pro.
Local
regional,
pro. There you
regional,
go.
national.
Local, regional.
Yeah.
But you approached me recently about running an event because in Virginia, several clubs in the area participate in a club tournament every year, and each club assembles a team. And you guys battle it out, and bragging rights, trophies, all that stuff. So you approached me about wanting to try and organize something like that in Tennessee, and you were kind of feeling like since you don't have a whole lot of tournament directing experience, maybe do a smaller, scaled-down, local kind of version of that to start with and build some interest and kind of see how it takes off. But let's go ahead and just for anybody that's watching that hasn't gotten a chance to meet you yet, you've been at our last several events since we came back in June. But tell the folks a little bit more about yourself, your background, where you come from, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so
First, watch your foot.
Gotcha. You're all good.
Perfect. There you go.
Yeah, so I started playing actually a long time ago, back in 2003 maybe, 2003 or so. Nice. But kind of got out of it and took like a 10 or 12 year hiatus because no one played that I knew. So didn't get any practice then, and that was all back in Virginia. Currently, I went to school right now for my doctorate in PT, and I moved out here because this is the ending. This is the goal, hopefully. And so I joined the Nashville Disc Golf club, just seeing how to get more friends in that community, because I think it's a great way to do that.
Well, since you're a part of the club, it's the Music City Disc Golf Club.
There we go.
Just throw that out there.
Should know that.
Well, no, it becomes a thing because there's the Nashville Disc Golfers Facebook page.
Sure. That's true. Yeah.
And that's for more of a broader community kind of informational sharing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it could be confusing, and a lot of people have expected the club to kind of discipline or moderate what goes on that page, and we do not own that page. Music City Disc Golf on Facebook, that belongs to us. Nashville Disc Golfers is a general informational sharing. It does have rules, does have moderators, but we are not directly affiliated.
All right, locked in. I'll remember it for next time.
Glad you said that, because I actually had to explain that very thing earlier this
Good week. Opportunity to get the information out there and tell everybody exactly how it works.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, so, I mean, I joined. I got here maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and have just been playing as many tournaments, league stuff that I could play. Awesome. And I've been enjoying all the leagues. It's been awesome. Every single day there's something new. And I had this event that you were talking about in Virginia, run by John Bisco, which is a big name over on the East Coast. And all the clubs get together and they have a 7-man team and they play a tournament and see how many people they can get there. They have a huge course out there though called Lake Marshall, and they have 36 holes or something like that, so they can have 100 teams come out and still be fine. But basically it's a 7-man team, and you're gonna be playing a match play style. I'd love to explain it to you guys. Hopefully, you guys can understand it as best.
7-man per 7-man team per division, or 7-man team.
But the format is really the clincher of this event, and this is what really kind of secured my interest in what you wanted to do, because this isn't everybody obviously in Nashville. We really enjoy when we get a chance to do a team tournament. Everybody always enjoys the Ambassador Cup. We do a couple other things. Bring your own partner doubles has always been really popular here. But your format is very interesting because it's a 7-man team, and it also they're playing, like you said, a modified kind of match play format. What's the whole breakdown, and how does that all work?
So we're going to have a max of 12 teams.
All right.
That's my goal, to get 12 teams. That'll fill up every hole with a foursome at Cedar Hill with 21 holes. It's a 7-man team. You have a professional player, 2 advanced players, 2 intermediate players, a 40 and older player, and then back in Virginia we do just a woman's, but I thought it's hard to fill that slot sometimes. I wish it would be easier, but so we did a woman, novice, or a junior player under 15.
Sure.
So anybody can play that division. So on your team you have 7 players of all different skill levels, basically. So let's take Advanced 1 for instance. That Advanced 1 is going to be playing against the Advanced 1s of all the other teams.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a foursome on a hole, it'll be Advanced 1s. All 4 of you will be Advanced 1s from 4 completely different teams. So let's say we got A, B, C, and D players. A is going to be playing against B, and C is going to be playing against D for 6 holes, match play. Mm-hmm. Okay? Then what you're going to do after that 6-hole match play, whoever wins, of course, if you're up by 4 and there's 2 holes left, you've automatically won. Doesn't matter from then. So you can either win, tie, or lose. That's it. Once you're done with that 6 holes, or 4 holes, however many it takes you to win, you play, so A versus B, or C versus D, you'll play A versus C. So you play another person on your card. Still advanced, but it's a different person on your card. Mm-hmm. Another 6 holes. Then you're going to play, after those 6 holes, the last person on your card. So every single person on your card is going to play each other for 6 holes. Now, when you win, you get a point for your team. Okay, so if you win the first one, you get a point. If you lose the next 2, you get 0 points. If you tie it, you end up getting a half point for each team. So you go back to your team of 7 people of all different skill levels with a possibility to score a total of 3 points if you win all 3 of your matches. Mm-hmm. Or you can have a mix. You can have 0 points coming back. You can have 1.5 points coming back. You can have 2.5 points coming back. You come back to your team. You add up all those points that you just scored. You can play a total of 18 holes, technically. 6, 6, 6 if you tie them all.
But obviously, if you pushed out,
Exactly. Sure. You're going to play less holes.
Yeah.
And so you come back and you get all your scores added up, and then you hopefully, if we have enough teams, we'll do a second round. So it's not just one round and done. You have a second round playing 3 other teams again, and you're going to be in 2 different divisions. So the top scorer in each division will play each other for a championship in like a 9-hole match play round.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Does that ask questions, please? Yeah, because I want to make it as clear as possible.
My first question is that formatted off of another sport, or is that formatted somewhere, or is that just like made? Or who made that up?
So that was the thing we did in Virginia, man. It was we have an ODCC tournament, so it's actually a statewide tournament.
Okay.
So every single club, so like Music City Disc Golf would put in a team. I don't know if Memphis has a club. They put in a team. All these different teams come into one communal course, and they'd play off to see what club is the best.
I mean, honestly, dude, it would be hard to do the whole state because just right here we've got Muletown, MTDGA, Cookeville, Aerosol, Williamson County, Dixon, Tullahoma,
Agreed.
Henry Horton, guys out there.
Yeah, and then Chattanooga is only an hour and a half away, and they always send their best.
It's kind of like a sub club.
I was wondering about that. How do you classify the Henry Horton?
It's like a course club.
It's like that's what I was thinking.
So yeah, that's
I'm
the
wondering
tough
if
part.
that's like roughly based off of the PGA golf event. Was it the cup where they go play the Americans versus Europe in real golf or ball golf? Real golf,
right?
You know what I'm talking about. I forget what it's called, but I wonder if the scoring system's based off of that or roughly based off of it.
I don't know much about that, so I couldn't tell you. Sorry.
Either way, it's mathematics, people. You can figure it out.
And we were talking a little bit about this before we got on the air because I've obviously, over the last few years since Alan Posey started the Voodoo Dubs stuff that Alpo Disc Golf does, and that's become a part of the Halloween at Ogwood, and he brings it out of the closet every once in a while for other circumstances. That's Bring Your Own Partner Doubles has become a wildly popular format, especially if you offer the right divisions.
Random draw can be dicey at times.
Yeah, and sure, there's a lot of people that avoid those kind of events for that very reason. But Bring Your Own Partner has always been fun. You have a lot of people that like to play stuff like Ripped, get real creative with the format.
Sure.
And then, there's a lot of players, especially you're looking at a time like right now where we have a ton of new people playing. I can actually give you guys some concrete numbers now. We've been talking about on the podcast how it seems like across the board there are just way more people playing disc golf during the pandemic. But I can tell you, since we came back and started having events again at the beginning of June, every event we've run, roughly 30% of the field has been people that are playing their first tournament.
I believe that for sure. I think the COVID was a good thing for disc golf.
We had to order more bag tags. That we've never had to do that this early in the year before.
That's a good problem.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're already at 300 members. We'll most likely push past 400 by the end of the year. So it's all good stuff. But a lot of these players are just finding disc golf, and I know a lot of us, me included, went for a long time in disc golf without ever knowing anything about team golf. The closest experience you get with it is usually doubles. So, that was one of the things that really locked me into being a part of this. And for you guys that are wondering, why is he on the podcast? How is this all associated with the club?
We're participating this year.
Yeah, well, and
we're doing it.
Well, let's do it. With 7-member board, 7-member.
We've got 4 right now.
No.
So
true.
I mean, we could do podcast team.
Right,
podcast,
pod squad, team pod squad.
Maybe I'm the pro. Maybe.
Maybe.
You can be the pro.
You're definitely going pro before that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, it's the part of our philosophy. We want more events. We want better events. That's part of our vision and mission as the club. But that doesn't. That's not just meaning that we run all the events. We want to equip other people to run quality events, and that's.
More golf is better golf.
Absolutely.
As always. I mean, like with Sean.
And different golf, I feel like, is better golf, too, which is really fun.
And I think Nashville is kind of a cool, melting pot of that because you have Sean, and then you have, Nashbro that kind of does their thing throughout the year as well. So having
this is a perfect example because you had a cool idea, and you came to me and said, hey, how would I do this?
Mm-hmm. Well,
so we, as the club, can act as a resource to tell him how it works, just ins and outs of running a tournament. And then you get an opportunity to get behind the table, have a little bit more experience so that you can decide how best to implement going forward at a larger scale statewide or something along those lines.
And I'm not jealous of you at all in this sense, because I feel like you doing it and making it statewide is a huge undertaking to do a team.
That's why when I first brought it up to
like
him to do a state tournament, I was like,
it's a lot.
I have no idea what I'm doing. How about we just throw in a local thing to see how people respond to it? Because in Virginia, man, it is one of the hottest things of a year. Like, people fight to be on teams. And they'll do like 2 teams per club a lot of the times, because they want like an A team and a B team. Sure. So it's really fun. I want to thank Will by a lot. Like, I feel like I've just been blowing up his messenger every single day.
He's used
trying
to
to figure everything out, man. And then I also want to thank Kim Birdie and Ed Birdie, because they're sponsoring us. Helping the Players Pack. It's not eccentric. It's like a $10 credit to their store. Yeah. So it's a $20 buy-in, $10 credit. It's a $10 fee to play, and I built a trophy. I wish I brought it in today, actually. So.
Oh wow! Can't wait to see it.
Send us a picture, and we'll post it.
He sent me a couple pictures, but it was in progress, and I didn't want
to.
Yeah. Yes.
Real quick, how closely related is his idea with what you and J Ray were talking about not long ago?
Well, this is what I was going to mention. Is it's not necessarily a cold call, because me and J Ray and other folks in Memphis, Dave Smith, that's doing a lot of the stuff at Bud Hill now, and people in Chattanooga, we've always talked about this. And this is, I said, we've talked about doing like a private course challenge or a club challenge of some kind, and building teams and all that stuff. I've been in conversations about that for the last couple of years. I think Ed and Kim and I have talked about it. And I may have also mentioned it to Jeff Casalina with MTDGA. So the idea is on the table, and this is, I think, it's kind of like, we were talking about how the podcast started. It was like, finally it was one day I just bought a mic and said, we're going to talk in front of it.
Yep.
And so, rather than the 2 years that me and other administrators in Tennessee have kind of looked at the idea, said, yeah, it's really cool. It would definitely be worth doing. But nobody had the time and effort to really commit to how much planning and prep work. So that's where a community member comes in really handy. If you have somebody that's their main focus, they're passionate about it, they can build it well, then we can empower those people.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like how he's taking it from where he was and how huge it is there, and because it's that big there, he wants it here. And so I like the passion behind it. It's pretty sweet, and it's neat to see what other states do disc golf differently.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't see
and
that.
It seems
in every state,
seems so confusing when I try to explain it to everybody, but it just runs. It's so easy once you start playing it.
Sure.
So I don't think it's going to be too difficult. If anybody has any questions, like
as long as you're doing the math, I'm all for it.
And that's why I added they added the 0.5 system, so there's less ties.
Yep.
If it was just 1 and 0 points, you're gonna have a million ties versus having a 0.5 more, 0.5 less.
True.
But yeah, if anybody has questions, if anybody has questions about the format or anything, wants to hit me up and go out with foursome and play, and figure it out, like, please do. I'd love to go out and play. I have way too much time on my hands now that my school's been pushed back, so right now I'm just yeah, it sucks, but
it's interesting timing, because after I was trying to wrap my head around your format, and like I'm saying, I'll be completely honest, I'm not familiar with a whole lot of team format stuff either. Sure. So that was why I was kind of grilling you, because if I were to be a player in the event, those are the questions that you're going to get.
Exactly.
But I got an interesting chance, because we played 2 events at Ogwood this weekend, singles on Saturday and Bring Your Own Partner doubles on Sunday. But the doubles was 2 rounds, and the second round, because first round was best shot doubles.
Yeah.
Second round was 6 holes best shot, 6 holes alternate shot, and 6 holes combined score.
All right.
So dedicated. So holes 1 through 6 were best shot, 7 through 12 were alternate shot, and 13 through 18 were combined score. And even to, my experience with team stuff, that was a complicated format. But once you talked about it at the beginning, you said, holes 1 through 6, wherever you start, holes 1 through 6 are this, then so on and so forth. I thought it was really easy to track. Definitely easier than I thought it would be to track.
It just flows once you're doing it. And you have everybody else on your card that's like, this is how it works, and they kind of get on board and understand it well, too. I think it'll work really well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
So far we have, 14 people signed up, which is cool.
That's
Yeah,
all
that's two teams.
It's only been going. Yeah, it's only been going.
Where are
I've
they?
made it live like
Music City
Everything,
or-
and I'll tell you right now, Andrew, typically our events for the last year have been filling up in the last week or
That's
I
what
knew
I
he
was.
gonna
I was
say
thinking
that.
it was going to be like
Yeah.
the last 2
I
weeks
knew he was
probably.
gonna say that. Yep.
Or some people just come tearing into the driveway after the
10
2-minute
minutes
warning.
late, asking who aced.
That
Oh.
guy. Not pointing at any names or fingers or anything, but that guy did it. That's okay.
He made it. That's
I
the
think
one
he
thing
did that just
matters.
to make sure he could play on my card. I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Strategy.
I mean, who would want to play on your card?
Who wouldn't, right?
I mean,
Thank you.
I'm pretty awesome. Jordan, thank you for the updated flyer. I will add that into the post-produced video, I promise you. So we're going to take a quick break. We've got Derek Scull from Gatekeeper Media that's going to be joining us for the rest of the show. And, so we'll be right back after these brief messages to talk more disc golf.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Enjoy.
I hope to see you guys out on the
hold on,
course
hold
on
on.
July
Hey,
25th.
You don't
PSA,
necessarily need
PSA.
to. You don't necessarily
From
need to leave.
Marcus
You can hang out
can
if
do
you don't
that.
got nowhere to be. You can hang out.
So I do have somewhere to be.
Okay.
My
Well,
fiance is
thank
waiting
you.
for me, but
okay. Well, thank you,
No.
Andrew, for taking the time to
appreciate
come
it,
over
man.
here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for real.
and I told you a little bit off the air. People come into Nashville, and we have a really vibrant disc golf scene, and people want to be a part of it. So people will come and try to set up an event and advertise it and promote it really well, and then people that aren't local have no commitment to the community here, have no commitment to the players. Some players feel they've been done wrong at certain events. So when a new event pops up, a new TD pops up, people want to ask questions.
Sure.
And you end up with some toxic Facebook feeds.
Sure.
But this is we're taking an opportunity here
Absolutely.
to introduce you to everybody. And we're you and I have become quite familiar with each other
Yeah.
through text messages over the last couple weeks. So
Sorry about that.
no, but this is just no, it's fine. If it wasn't you, it'd be 10 other people. So, but we wanted to take an opportunity to make
Sure.
you kind of broadcast you out to the rest of the family because it's a big family.
Yeah.
So now everybody kind of knows you a little bit more, and they have a little bit more information about where your head's at, where you're coming from with this event.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys please look into it. It's going to be really fun. 7-person team challenge, modified match play format. There's a trophy. There's players packs. It's going to be awesome. Thank you to Ed and Kim from Flying Colors Disc Golf for sponsoring the event and helping us kind of bring this into being. So
Congrats. You're not a stranger anymore.
Appreciate it.
People will
Thank you.
talk to you again.
it's been a pleasure.
Your
dude.
family.
No problem. Thank
Yeah.
you
You're
guys
always
for having me
welcome
on
at the
too.
Sapphire Lounge.
Always
Awesome.
welcome. Even if we got something going on, you can always sit in the timeout chair.
I'll come back.
Yeah, you
Do I have to pay?
It's like the chef's table at a restaurant.
You get to pay it the third time, not the second time.
You get to fetch our coffee.
Yeah.
yeah, after
The
a
third
little
time
while,
you got to
though.
pay for your drink. The first 2 times it's free,
Or just bring a bottle with you. Either or.
like Jay does.
We'll all play, and then the loser has to sit in the timeout chair.
Absolutely. There you go.
Rouge.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Dude, love you. Thank you for what
you,
you're doing.
guys.
Thank you for your passion. Thank you
man.
for stepping up. You guys, check out the Battle of Music City. And I actually have a flyer for this one. So check that out. Boom.
It says 16 teams, but it's 12. I swear I made it before.
12 teams with 7
Yeah.
players. So we'll just take that flyer right back down.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it
I got-
happens.
yeah.
That's kind of the theme of the show. The whole theme
Yep.
song is based around the error tone on Facebook. If you hit something, you're
You
not
gotta
allowed
add
to.
those.
The
Goes
first,
bloom,
Add that later.
bloom.
first tournament
Right
I ever
there.
ran had shirts printed with the wrong date on it, and I didn't even know it until like a month,
That might be
after
the worst.
event.
Solstice is spelled solstice
Yeah,
You have no
Yeah,
clue
I've
how many
seen that.
times I've been like messing with somebody like, "Hey, that flyer you just put up
on the
Yeah,
stamp and the
that
discs
date
already got
is
me.
not
Incorrect.
right. It's incorrect." And also, you might want to. Okay, yeah.
Have you ever done that and like just overlook something like, "Hey, man, this doesn't have the location"? Then
Yeah.
they're like, "Yeah."
Every time I send a text, something's wrong. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. We've been trying to close it.
Brief messages. We'll be right back
Yeah,
with
right
Eric
back.
Scull from Gatekeeper Media. Thank you, Andrew.
Right.
We'll talk to you guys here in just a few minutes.
What? Who? Where?
Oh,
I don't
hello,
like
and
mics that
we
are
are
hot.
back.
Oh, thank you, Comcast, for communicating with Apple.
Derek.
Literally.
Your technology.
Derek.
Can't keep up.
So sorry for the delay, man.
There he is.
We've been having Comcast issues here in Nashville,
Please
but
do everything on me.
ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and we are joined now by Derek Scull of Gatekeeper Media. Hello, Derek. How are you this evening? Can you hear us?
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Doing well. Again, I'm really sorry for making you wait on us. But
Good, man, I live in a city where Comcast is based, and I have issues much like that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the,
Like,
the,
literally,
the
I
biggest
try my
re-
best to get everything going. And when we leave for a break, we come back and Comcast and Apple are like, you know what? I don't like you anymore. Comcast is like, what? What do you mean you don't like me? He's like, okay, I'm going to leave. Yeah, internet's down.
And the best part about it,
Yeah.
to get your problem fixed, you get the wonderful Comcast customer care.
Oh, Lord, let's not go there, please.
So
I've
for
gotten so many credits from their business.
Oh,
But
dude.
just
They just
airing on them, you know.
those are like tickets at Chuck E. Cheese. They just give them away. Here you go, credit. Don't worry, we turned 125 million last week. Here's your credit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for everybody that's tuning in just now and they're not sure who's on the screen with us, this is Derek Scull of Gatekeeper Media. He is a member of Team Millennium
Look at
Golf
that
Discs.
form.
Look at that huck face.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then he's also one of the founders of, or the founder of, we'll get more details on that, Gatekeeper Media, which just went on full-time media coverage duties this year.
Yeah.
But right before the pandemic threw everything for a loop. So we're really excited.
You know,
Been a wild ride, right?
I was gonna say, what a year for your debut, sir.
Right. So, Derek, you and I have gotten to know each other just recently throughout the shutdown from the Disc Golf Examiners online putting league that we were both a part of. But you're obviously, you know, you're front and center.
Congrats on the thank you, by the way.
That first night win.
Did you win?
I won the first one.
Whoa.
The first installment of it, I
Good
won.
job, bud.
There were some questions.
To be fair, I was putting on a basket that was like a generic, like pop together
Oh,
one. So
man.
you know,
Yeah, those baskets are the worst. I got an instep basket for the backyard putter, and it's whoo. Like that would have caught if it would have been any other basket, but you.
An actual basket.
but you know, it's something that you got to realize. It's like, well, you can only make so many excuses with the gear that you're using.
Yeah, that's very true. That's
I mean,
very true. But we'll still make them.
To be completely fair, my setup was pretty highly questionable as well because I had a Innova Traveler basket set up in the corner of my privacy fence, and the Traveler basket may or may not have had a broken spoke on the cage. So there was, and I didn't have the best lighting.
And I didn't have the best lighting.
Yeah, it's
Will's prima donna when he putts, in case you didn't know.
Oh,
He takes 28 of the 30 seconds, by the way.
I don't think this is the case, and I'm kind of surprised that
I'm kidding.
This is where this interview has gone so far. I'm not going to waste Derek's time with confronting you about this, but we're going to talk about it later. But no, yeah, put a pin in that one.
Yeah,
we're
we'll
tabling
handle
that for
that
now. Yeah, so Derek, Gatekeeper had a really big year planned. You guys set yourself up to really just take the stage by storm. You were on the PDGA National Tour media policy. You're contracted with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. All this stuff lined up. You guys, I know that you went full time this year, and I'm assuming that means that some of you that you quit jobs that you had. So,
100%. So I've been full time since June of last year.
Okay.
And then Chris, who's the other half of Gatekeeper, he left his job probably 1 month exactly before we left for Las Vegas. And then we got 2 events in, and there we go.
Sorry, Will just shined studio lights in my face.
Couldn't see you. Sorry.
It's all right. I look better in the dark, bro.
2 events in, train goes off the rails. How terrifying was that? How much did you guys have riding on the months of like March, April, May? And that's the busiest time of the whole season.
It was everything, man. It took the wind of our sails. It was something that, you know, and quite honestly, I think that it's important to talk about. But I mean, our mental health was not good. Like it was something where it almost felt like a defeat until we had to pick up ourselves from our bootstraps and say, you know what, we'll figure it out. So, you know, we came up with a couple creative things to get us by, and you know, now we're really excited for things to start back up again. You know, it is still kind of a hit because we lost all of the NTs, and that was just a little shy of half of our season.
Sure.
So I've been scrambling. I'm the one who does all the biz dev stuff. So, you know, I've been the one communicating, you know, for that to try to scramble and get some other things, you know, in our schedule.
Now, will you hopefully you'll recoup some of that on next year's back end. I hope, with just kind of everything being pushed.
Yeah, things are still in communication. So I really don't have an answer for that, but I'm hopeful.
Well, just like us with you know the national tours and BNTDs,
Yeah,
you know, the copy and paste into next year was kind of big for us.
Yeah, you probably have the same amount of info that we do.
Sure.
Well, and that's the thing is I don't know if the media policy is part of the copy paste.
Yeah,
and the copy paste is really only, you know, it's tentative because you copy paste the schedule to next year as much as you can.
Sure.
But it's a new year.
Oh,
so,
yeah, absolutely.
You know that.
Yeah, I would say, but really, it's just a matter of like waiting for official announcements from the PDGA when they decide that they want to make that info public.
But you guys had a contract with, you know, starting this year with with the PDGA and with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So you guys are now back to business.
Yeah, I mean, we are. Our first event back is going to be D-Glow.
Okay. Because
and like a lot of people have been asking us, like, oh, why were you not at DDO? Why are you not set up to go to the Preserve? And the two events that they took the place of, we were never on the docket for anyway. So it really wasn't. There was no animosity or anything like that. So, and I think a lot of people had assumed that, but I mean, I didn't think anything of it because I was like, well, I mean, we didn't plan on that anyway. Now, did I try to get on those events? Sure, because they were a hell of a lot closer than the other ones that we weren't going to. And obviously with COVID being what it is, I mean, we're really weary about flying anywhere. So the way it looks, we're going to be driving the whole season.
Yeah, and that's a common sentiment right now among media providers.
Real quick,
and touring players.
Where are you based at? Where y'all based?
Philly.
Probably the worst spot. One of the worst spots to be doing this. But yeah, we've been in Philly the whole time, and you know, outside of New York City, Philly was the number 2. But luckily, Pennsylvania as a whole treated this situation pretty responsibly, in my opinion.
I know they shut down their state parks right away. Like parks started shutting down.
Yeah, well, that was the thing is that put us behind the 8 ball because we couldn't. We were the only media team out there that couldn't make supplemental content for the longest time.
Wow.
So like it really screwed us over. And honestly, the first bit of content that we actually went out and filmed was that mic'd up round with Simon at Maple Hill.
Okay.
Yeah,
that
and
you got 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and that's an awesome video, and I love that you guys were able to kind of collaborate with Simon on that and do half of it on his channel, half of it on your channel. It's some buzz and exposure for both of you. But dude, like, you guys have been doing quality stuff for a long time, and clearly, and we'll get into this in a minute, but other people have been paying attention. But you know, your debut this year, I felt like was the Memorial, and
I mean, technically, our debut was
a while ago.
At IDGC, it was the first next gen event.
Well, I'm saying like yes, and debut. I mean that very loosely, but I mean like when the world knew Gatekeeper, like, and it wasn't like, you know. I feel like the Memorial this year, because your coverage of the Memorial was phenomenal, and your graphics, and this is one thing that everybody universally across the hostile landscape of Facebook agrees. There's a consensus that you guys do graphics right, and your presentation of your coverage is visually spot on. And
I will say I can't take credit for that, as Chris is our graphics guy. So primarily I do all the baseline editing, and then I'm a director of photography by trade. So I come from the actual film industry prior to this. So I've been behind the camera for over a decade now already.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And clearly that's probably a lot to do with why your stuff is so streamlined and it's so presentable. But
Well, I was gonna say, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like Gatekeeper, like I saw you guys trickling in on the YouTube, because if you're like me, I'll watch pretty much anybody's coverage of of disc golf events on YouTube. But I feel like y'all were trickling in, and I was like, who are these guys? And then watched one of y'all's, and I was like, holy crap! I was like, their quality is ridiculous. And then you still kind of saw them trickle in, but I felt like what Will was saying, this year was going to be the big explosion,
The
because
big
people
reveal.
like really knew like who you guys were at that point, because you had some videos out there. I want to know what it was like first, like breaking into that with like getting into the negotiate, not necessarily the details, but like how was it like breaking into kind of a market where most people went with one or two companies? Was that easy, or was it like one of those things they had to have that?
it's an interesting time to jump into
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? And a great time to jump into
Sure,
it, because if you only have two go-tos, you know, everybody has a top three and everything. So
Yeah, what was that experience?
and you guys are clearly, to me, you know, that was what I meant by debut, was like this year, that memorial coverage, to me, that announced to the world.
Yeah.
If you're talking about disc golf coverage for your tournament, there's three names that you're talking about. You're talking about Jomez, Central Coast,
and Gatekeeper, yeah, for
So,
sure.
Yeah.
And you've like literally filled that spot almost immediately.
It was very, very quick. And that's
yeah. So traversing that whole thing was interesting. So like when we first set on the scene, it was purely through happenstance, where our company, and we've mentioned this in a couple other interviews, but our company started as a drone piloting company. So we were initially going to be a corporate fly through for businesses and things like that. And then a buddy of ours, had us do the whole layouts for one of their courses. And then 3 weeks later, we filmed our first tournament at that course.
Okay.
I think what really helped us out was that Delaware Challenge getting on the national tour, and that being within 40 minutes of our home base. It was a really easy sell to the PDGA that said, hey, why not let us take a crack at Chase Card for you? We're here. Like, and you don't have anybody else on the docket. And quite frankly, I mean, we probably saved them some money, because we were very entry level priced.
yeah.
What happened over there, Marcus? You're breaking things. Sorry.
I'm doing good.
The entry level.
Did you do what Jay did? Break a boom?
Oh, I can do it.
When you say entry level, like it's funny that it's a good thing, and I say funny, I don't mean it in that way, but like it's awesome to know that there is a market for that, for those production companies now in that sport, because 10 years ago, what was there one? Or these guys were out there doing that for free.
And the reason I call it a great time for you to really break into it, a great and a terrible time considering COVID-19.
Sure.
But you know, this is the time when I think we're right on the cusp of big worldwide mainstream exposure, and
Yeah. Well,
it's a perfect time to cement yourself and get your name out there in circulation as, hey, if we're having a conversation about who we're going to get to do media,
let me
you're
ask you,
now a part of that conversation. And there's, you know, it's going to get that wiggle room for people to get into it is going to
it's
get
getting
narrower.
smaller.
Yeah.
Sure. Just real quick.
Sure is. Yeah. And I mean, we're seeing more and more people try to take a stab at it. And if I'm being completely honest, I think it's just going to be very, very tough for them.
Speaking of just in general on that topic, any thoughts on CBS doing some coverage of what the post-production stuff? And the reason why I ask, because that gap is definitely narrowing, that window rather is narrowing, getting smaller.
Yeah.
And with a big company such as CBS, I feel like it's great for the sport, but maybe not going to be the best for guys like Jomez and Central Coast and you guys, if that were them say they were to pick up contractually. What do you think that would be like? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I think really it comes down to finding out how it's done.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, because this obviously, and we all know this, it's not the first time that disc golf has been on.
No.
Sure. You know, we can all remember the salient days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or the lack thereof, rather.
Or the attempt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but obviously that wasn't that wasn't approached properly then. So
Sure.
here's another crack at it. Now, obviously, Jomez being the industry leader, they're the obvious choice to do that, right? I also think that there's plenty of golf to go around.
Absolutely.
Where traditional ball golf, I mean, you see the top 8-10 cards or so, and it's not really even cards per se for ball golf, but
No.
you have more of the field covered for that.
Well, I was going
So
to say.
then at that point you're starting. Go ahead.
No, you go. No, go. You finish your thought.
He does that.
I do that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So all I was saying was that, I mean, because there's plenty of golf to be had here, and if we want to emulate something that's already a proven thing, I mean, these networks, in my opinion, would be foolish to not bring on all the people who have years of experience providing the content and have the names behind it. So I think really it's going to be proving beneficial to all of us, just a matter of like when. And it's really right now, it's just proving that it's possible to get there. So really it's a matter of like, well, now that the door's open, what are we going to make of it?
Yeah. I will ask that CBS give us some commentary. Like, give us some commentators. Watch the sport first, but we need some professional commentators.
Yeah, what's your take on this whole thing with
those.
CBS, Derek? I mean, it's a huge announcement. I mean, obviously, we were just talking about being on the cusp of worldwide exposure, but this DDO CBS Sports thing, how does that change the landscape? I mean, clearly, somebody that's been doing sports coverage for years, top qualified in their field, could show up with a camera on a disc golf course and get the world's worst coverage.
Sure, we've seen that before.
Yeah, if you don't have any experience with disc golf or understand how it works, it could be a disaster. So, and I imagine, just from my limited understanding of the arrangement with CBS and the Pro Tour, that it's largely going to be contracting the disc golf media providers. So does that change the landscape for you in a positive way?
If I'm being completely honest, I know probably just as much as you do about it. Because and it was quite a shock. I found out when they made the announcement.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the world did.
I was not privy to this prior to, and that definitely made me feel some type of way. But then again, it's like, well, it wasn't my deal to be known of. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, still no hard feelings or anything. But I really don't have any other information other than, what my thoughts are. And
I was just mainly asking, does that make it, does that change the landscape in a positive or a negative way? Does your projections and your kind of your scope,
what is your opinion?
Yeah, like do you feel? I mean, like if you obviously you don't know enough about it to really make a analysis, but
yeah, it's so tough, especially because so my first gut reaction is that it's really good for the sport and it's really good for media for the sport.
Absolutely.
My second reaction would be that the coverage just can't. So if that continues to be the trend, we might see something flatline a little bit. Who knows?
Gotcha.
Because disc golf audience has become extremely spoiled.
Sure.
I mean, they're getting top quality coverage that's happening the next day, and if it does not cater to that exact mold, we hear about it relentlessly.
Well, what's crazy about that is how that has become the standard. As where literally 5 years ago, that wasn't the case. Like that quickly, overnight. And what's crazy about that is that, and like we've talked about it here before, is how much that's driven the sport to where it's at now. And I feel like you were saying, CBS coverage is great coverage. Any coverage like that can only grow the sport. But it's just something to think about and not to be discussed. But like, it goes along with COVID. Would we even be in this position without COVID? Like, I mean, I've seen all sorts of different sports on ESPN and CBS recently, like rock climbing, spike ball, all sorts of cornhole. And so it makes sense that, hey, disc golf now is going to be on there. But is it one of those things? It's a catch-22 with COVID. It's actually hurt us, but then at the same time, is it helping us?
Is this a good time for the tip of the day?
Well, the dynamic disc open wasn't an event for the past couple of years. It was years ago, but it had been kind of shelved and then brought back because of necessity.
Absolutely. I think
when we get as people, when we get painted into a corner, we start to think things in a more creative way.
Sure.
So I was, from the get-go, my first instinct of COVID in general was, I'm excited to see what people think up because of this. I mean, we're using a video conference system that hadn't been popularized until 3 months ago.
Sure.
Right now.
Yeah. And now it's worldwide. Like every school, church, personal correspondence, everything is happening
it's
on
a ploy for
on
another
this
baby
app.
boom.
Yeah, some businesses are doing great. Some businesses are closing, and
it's been kind of weird like that. And because you say that when it comes to like even overall, like in like, not to get off too far off topic, but investments. Certain investments have just tanked, and some people have made, millennials millionaires because of this.
Yeah,
and it's been very interesting to see the business dynamic across all genres of business, I guess you'd say, different formats or different styles of business, disc golf to whatever.
Yeah,
and how much it's helped and hurt.
So you guys got really creative over the shutdown and did a whole bunch of really neat content. Obviously, you and I met in a virtual putting league, but you guys did some really cool stuff. We mentioned the video that you did with Simon. Also, you had the mold battle, the battle for the best molds between all the manufacturers, and that seemed like it kind of took the internet by storm pretty strongly. Has any of that been able to kind of keep your momentum up and keep your keep your schedule in development? I don't know.
We were able. So all of our social media platforms have grown throughout the shutdown, except our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So our YouTube channel had been pretty stagnant until we linked up with Simon, just because who we were working with, B, the type of content it was.
Well, I feel like
just because it was our first time to sense of coverage. What's that?
Well, sorry, you're on a little bit of a delay between the two, and you're breaking up a little bit from time to time. So I actually did not hear a word you said. So that last statement you made.
Well, I was just saying that us partnering with Simon helped grow our channel again after hiatus. But I mean, something that you hadn't mentioned yet was that we partnered with Steve Dodge and started hosting old MSDGC content, and we're calling it Gatekeeper Classic.
Nice.
Just because we needed more content on our channel, and we thought that content was something that deserved new breath into it.
Yeah.
And because I don't know how many people follow this sentiment that I have, but I think Steve Dodge was ahead of his time, and I think his coverage, I mean, he approached it like you'd watch ball golf, and it's really entertaining. And for us to see such a low viewer count on those videos was a little upsetting, because a lot of these folks that are watching disc golf now, they don't know where the sport came from, and I think that they're kind of ignorant to the fact that they only want this new stuff where it's that old stuff has a lot of merit to it, and you see some really cool golf in that old footage.
You do.
And also, I also have a soft spot for analog video and things like that. So that might also be why I really like watching that stuff. But altogether, I've been enjoying watching the content, even if the views aren't what you
Well, I don't care what the population says, brother. If you've got that love for the vintage stuff and you want to give it new breath, you're all right.
Well, it's interesting how, like, because you talk to people that are fans of other sports, and during all this time when there's such a lack of sports coverage,
Everybody's watching old
everybody's
stuff.
going back and watching old games. And disc golfers are not appreciative of that, and that's very.
It blew my mind,
Here's
man.
why they're not appreciative.
But,
It's the coverage. It's you guys, Gatekeeper, Showmez, Central Coast. That's why this is what they're used to. Like you said, they're spoiled, and they didn't know what it was like in the Clash DVD days, where you or like even being able to watch it unless you bought an actual physical DVD. I mean,
This is
like you got the world's coverage 6 to 9 months after the event.
Sure.
If you were lucky.
right.
and you may have got their tee off with no fault. You know, who knows where the disc went?
Well, and that was something I mentioned
Oh, that was-
in the interview I did with Steve Hill recently. Was he said that he was asking about where I said basically you've got MP40 to like you go to Masters Worlds
Sure.
and you've got these guys former world champions, distance record holders, these guys that were the stars of our sport for so many years, and they don't get video coverage, they don't get this and that, and it's like a much more lackluster experience for them at these events. Where you look at the PGA and they've got the senior tour, and it's a dignified stage for the people that it came before us to perform on, and I feel like the more that you phase those guys out of and girls, guys
Sure.
and gals out of the limelight, those are lessons that you're robbing the new generation of disc golfers of, to a certain
I
extent.
agree, and I'm just very old school in the sense that like you just got to respect the history of you know whatever your thing is. But
Sure.
like
The evolution
because
of
you know, we caught and learned a lot of things from watching that coverage too. That like you know I may be looking at things a little different when I'm out in the field recording stuff myself now, just because it's like, oh, I didn't think to do that. I'm really glad that I watched this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and it is funny you say that with the coverage is like, at all these premier events, the spectators, there's so many spectators to the point where we need crowd control to keep them away from us media teams as well. And the spectators are almost non-existent at these Masters events. Like we filmed Solinsky at Maple Hill last year, and it was quiet.
Well,
now it is relaxing, and a lot of those players don't like a lot of fuss, just because only having one media team is okay with them because they've played so much without media back in the day.
I think it's kind of I don't want to say the beginning because obviously we started years ago, but it's the beginning of the mainstream version of disc golf and what we are becoming.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
that's why we have to be
years,
intentional about how we do it.
Professional basketball or hockey. Like I remember hockey being on TV when I was a little kid, but how many people watch hockey relative to 25 years ago?
Yeah,
like astronomical difference.
Yep.
I think the disc golf is right there, and I think that's why you're not seeing that coverage of the Masters and stuff. Is because that for the people who watch it now and what are giving the breath into that, they just don't know.
So
and
for
just, you know what I mean?
It being on CBS, do you think there needs to be okay, so we're going to explain to you how disc golf works before the game gets started for people to understand? Because people can.
What about this too? You've got like hockey. We've got new teams. You've got Nashville Predators.
Sure.
Started a whole new fan circle of that sport here in a totally new region.
Absolutely.
But it's like, is it that because it seems like media providers, I'm not speaking of you, Derek, or people that are in that position, often when they're approached about providing coverage for a certain division or a certain card, it's like, wow, the interest isn't there. It's not worth doing. Well, is the interest not there because we're not showcasing it, or is it that it's really because I feel like it's definitely not a more diminished display of our sport. I think that there's value there.
I think the value is now becoming seen, and that before, when you're talking about that, the value wasn't. It was always there. It just wasn't always seen in a capital sense. But I think now you're starting to see that.
But does every group, does everyone understand disc golf? Can we,
I don't know.
can
It's
we,
a really hard question.
honestly
Derek-
say
Derek's
that everybody
trying to jump in.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Derek.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Derek. Yeah.
I think that's I think that's a really hard thing to kind of really kind of dissect, because it's something where, I mean, the views themselves on other divisions, like they tell you the story, right? So
Sure.
and having, where I've seen videos where it's a different division, they get a tenth of the views
Yeah.
that the open division gets.
Sure.
Now, do I think, what I would like to see is that other media companies are brought out specifically to film these other divisions,
Yeah.
and having them be, only that, where, like, maybe these fresh companies that we were talking about earlier in the interview, where they're trying to make their way into it. Well, maybe their way into it is covering these divisions that otherwise go overshadowed.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then they can learn their craft through these other divisions.
True.
And I'm not saying that as in, like,
You're starting at the bottom.
like a JV team
Yeah.
practice squad thing, but more like, because they don't have as many eyes right now, they have the ability to get comfortable with what they're doing.
Mhm.
And then
Makes
in that respect, it's going to benefit the media teams that are trying to get their foothold in the door now, and shine some light on other divisions. And then then if you bundle everything together, it's all supplemental for one another.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I agree with that statement, and I hope, that's a good aspiration to have. I think that's a great way to, or a good goal to shoot for. My question would be, is it going to be money efficient for those companies to want to do that, to start there, to try to do that? Because even looking at professional sports, like let's just take the WNBA, for example. I'm not real sure that they turn a very big profit every year, and that's a massive sporting thing. But you don't see a lot of like Masters or women's and major sports that
Well, I guess we
becomes
wouldn't see it around
cost-efficient.
here because we wouldn't have, like,
Well,
any,
it's a cost
any
a cost efficiency
WNBA
thing.
teams around here.
Well, no.
They
Like,
like
it
the
might be a
media
little bit
team.
bigger on the West Coast, but most
Sure.
of those ladies are, from what I understand, still working the other half of the year.
Yeah, just like cheerleaders.
Sure.
Sure. You know what I mean?
I would also say, like, the media teams that cover, like, the WNBA and stuff, I mean, they're getting paid
A
by
good share.
somebody.
Sure, but
Yeah.
typically corporations, the guys that just to say, the guys that you're talking about, those guys who are kind of learning that craft as they move up, those guys aren't getting paid. Those guys are out there doing it, probably like you guys started because you wanted to bring coverage to people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
I think the real thing is that hopefully CBS is, because it's on a national scale.
Sure.
Hopefully that's going to bring the outsiders in.
Yeah.
And then now the pool is going to be a little bigger, so that we can spread that around a little bit more.
Absolutely. And last year at the USDGC, the opening to that with the story, the backlog, every day was a different segment that led into that event of the history of disc golf. I'm hoping that somehow, like, CBS incorporates that, because, like you were saying, that's going to drive, those guys who set the precursor for what we are now. Hopefully they'll set that for us.
Well, and it's funny because it's like you really only have to look at what other sports are doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just a matter of adapting that model to what we do. But
Absolutely.
we already know that it's proven that people want a backstory to things.
Absolutely.
It's proven people want replays to good plays. It's proven that they want top-notch commentary.
Absolutely.
So it's all these things that we're really just copying things that are already out there in other sports.
Sure.
So it's like we need to stop trying to reinvent the wheel and really try to hunker down and adapt to something that's already a proven thing.
Exactly.
I feel like we're still a little bit and still enough of the counterculture of not following that footprint that we're like, we got to change it in some way to make it, and it kind of slows us down a little bit, and then eventually we all end up caving and coming into that format of the copying what's proven to be successful. And you hate not to put your own individuality on something, because you certainly should, but why not go with what's proven and what will make you successful?
Sure. It's all a matter. It's really just a matter of like putting your own, like you said, putting your own spice, your secret herbs and spices into it to make it your. And that's why, like, where our content looks different than everyone else's.
Absolutely.
But we're all doing replays. We're all doing commentary. We're all doing flyovers. It's just a matter of like, okay, well, we need the bones, and then it's all a matter of like, well, what kind of meat on the bones is it after that?
Yeah. So, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's trying to get into your industry? Almost like a tip.
Yeah, let's do what are we calling this? The tip of the week?
Tip of the week.
Tip of the week from Derek Scull at Gatekeeper Media.
What should you do?
The Gatekeeper tip of the week would be, don't let yourself get discouraged because you don't have the best equipment. Just go out and do it.
Hey, we know that.
I like that.
Our first event that we ever filmed, we were out there with DSLRs, shoulder rigs. We didn't know what the hell we were
I don't even know what that is. Sounds provocative.
Yeah, I like it. Just take what you got. You go out and you try to do it, and you learn from your mistakes.
20 people that are going to be the future media providers of the disc golf are listening, going, "I'm going to start out with a DSLR and a shoulder rig."
Yeah.
Why not?
Like, okay. No, and that was because, being in the film industry, that was the equipment we had, right? But if I'm being completely honest, I've covered an entire 18-hole round with my iPhone.
I believe that 100%, dude. 100%. I literally watched.
And I only did it because I wanted to see if I could.
Yeah.
It was a local like test event for a new course that was being put in. So they were all tent baskets. It was in February of 2018. And I was like, I went out there with one of those external battery packs.
I was going to say, I'm more impressed that it stayed charged.
And I'm out there and I'm zooming like this on my screen,
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, I didn't miss a shot. I got the landing of almost every disc, and it put together something that was actually kind of fun to watch.
Sure.
And it gave a sense of how the course played as well. So I was doing it for a bunch of different reasons, but the fact that like it's possible. So we run a Facebook group called Gatekeeper Mobile. I really recommend everybody to send us requests. My stipulation though is I do not accept anyone who does not answer the question. So if you're not answering the question, I'm gonna decline the invite.
Gotcha. Answer the question, people.
It's kind of the point of having a question.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, yeah. Well, I put it there for my own health, right? Like, so. But what our main goal is to allow people, so there's a lot of players that want to like record themselves just for their own social media or form checks if they're new players or anything like that. So why not find out new ways to make that content better? Because I know that when I'm scrolling through stuff on the internet for my own enjoyment, I don't want to see bad stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So
there's a lot of bad stuff out there.
Nobody does. Right. So why can't I help make everybody's time on the internet a little better? Right. So that being said, join the group. We're really cool. I try to answer as many questions as I can. We delve into like equipment recommendations for budget, editing software. There's like a bunch of free options out there. Yeah. So like, even if you don't know if this is for you, but you want to give it a shot, do it. Do it.
Do you have an offshoot YouTube channel or anything like that with like how-tos or anything like that? Like just not necessarily pertaining to disc golf?
No, it's we tried to dabble in that, but we also found that we're not very good vloggers in recording ourselves. Things like that.
Did you say flogging? What is that?
No. Exactly.
I deserve to be punished.
I feel you.
it's like
We're too
really
old.
tough to film your stuff when you're so used to filming everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's been a song and dance, something that we've been really trying to get better at. And we're sitting on a ton of content of our own that we've shot, just Chris and I. Like we're building our own 9-hole course on private property. So
Awesome.
we've been kind of documenting that a little bit and stuff like that. But it's tough, man. So the players like Simon and Paul and Drew and all these guys that are doing their own vlogs and things like that. I mean, and Paige Pierce, hers is phenomenal. I mean, having the ability to do her own commentary and things like that, it's awesome. So I commend these players for doing that, because I find that difficult.
I give props to Will sitting across from me over there when it comes to things like that. That's one of his best aspects. When I think about that type of thing, I'm like, God, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And to him, it's like a walk
Yeah,
in
it
the
sucks.
park. Well, you make it look easy, friend.
No, man.
Want everybody out their thing, right? So and that's another thing that we need to get better at, is really leaning into their thing and embracing it.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Pick a lane, get in it, live there.
Not necessarily stay in your lane, but emphasize.
You got to
your
pass
lane.
sometimes.
Know where your lane is. There's lines for a reason.
You got to merge and pass. It's not logically possible.
There's
but,
levels to this.
It's a nice expression.
Don't go 40 in the passing lane.
If you ain't a big dog, stay off the porch, is how they used to say
don't
where I
get me
grew up.
started on
This is
40
going
and then the
nowhere
fast
really
lane.
quick.
Yada.
No, I do want to. There's something specific that I want to ask, and and it might be kind of putting you in the hot seat a little bit, but I'm asking this just because, for clarification purposes for our audience, for people that are watching this that are familiar
For
with
our
you,
younger members.
Yeah, for the younger members.
The
So
youths.
tell us, let's paint a picture here, because there could very easily be some confusion gleaned from a cursory glance at the internet. Tell us the difference between Gatekeeper Media and GK Pro. That's a question that I got a lot.
Huge amount.
When I had started talking about the fact that we were going to have you on the show. Is people were like, oh, I heard several people that it was like, oh, GK Pro. And it's two different things. So
We get that a lot, man. We get it all the time.
yeah.
And it's something that we're, both teams are battling. And, it's so first of all, our YouTube channel existed before theirs.
Boom.
And
Knew that.
Period. The end of story. Write it up.
Mic drop. Bah!
Here first.
so, and then the fact that so their naming structure is based off of the owner's name. Ours is a Ghostbusters reference, just because we're a bunch of nerds.
I am the
Love it.
Keymaster of
Love it.
Gorza. Are you the gatekeeper?
So, I don't know if you've ever seen when we get trolls on our YouTube channel, we'll say no such and such here, only Zool as there was as a response.
Yeah.
So if you're not 9 times out of 10, but there is a good chance that we'll come back at you with a response like that, because it's you
best
don't
way
get
to handle
anywhere with a troll.
I love
So you just
Entertain
you put it
ignorance
to 'em.
with more ignorance. I like it.
So I would say the biggest thing is that I just think that we have a significantly more experience than they do just in the video realm.
Yeah.
I will say that their photography on their end is pretty good. It's pretty top notch. So I do commend them on that. But I've prided myself on my camera skills for quite some time, and I would put my camera skills to the test against them, any day.
Well, tell us a little bit about your background in the film industry before you got into disc golf coverage. I mean, obviously, you've been involved in disc golf for a while because you're a sponsored player. So I'm sure that you lived. Yeah, shout out to Millennium, because Telly, we got a local
Telly, our
Millennium guy,
boy.
Telly, and
Finger
DJ.
pop.
DJ is Millennium
DJ
too.
as well, yeah.
So you're obviously. I feel like there was a long period of your time where you were both involved in film and in media, but also in disc golf. Tell us a little bit about how the two intersected.
that's a common misconception, actually.
Okay.
So we were not really heavily involved in disc golf for very long.
We won't tell anybody.
Where I mean, like, so I played disc golf back in like 2003. That was like when I first started, but that was like purely a visit the park with my brother and my dad with our starter sets, and we just hang out and play, right? And
Sure.
it was Cadorus State Park in Hanover, Pennsylvania, where Am Worlds was last year. So that was the first course I had ever played. And then really it was just only a leisure activity for me for years and years and years. And then even through college, like going to University of the Arts here in Philly, I didn't play then either. It took me until probably like 2013, 2014 or so to like start picking it back up again, because I got introduced to the league out in Lancaster County when I moved out of Philly. And then so going to Dubs every week and, you know, playing the trilogy challenges and things like that. So I was getting more and more acclimated. And then I kind of took another break from it for a couple years and then started back up again when I found out that Sedgley Woods existed here in Philly. So that was like kind of a hot and cold thing. But for my time in the movie industry, I mean, I got my start when I was still in high school. And so I was 15 years old and I was doing like PA work and like running lines and like cables and things like that for like NHL broadcasts. So I knew how that stuff worked years and years ago. And then that graduated to, you know, sound departments on feature films, and then director of photography for, you know, documentaries and, you know, verite style documentaries where it's like run and gun and low budget stuff. And then, you know, the director of photography for scripted content and, you know, music videos, commercials. We did a lot of work with a nonprofit called Art Sanctuary in Philadelphia, where the president of the organization was actually the woman. Her name's Tarana Burke. She was the one who started the hashtag Me Too movement.
Wow.
We were working with her and doing pro bono work with some of her side projects, you know, back in, what was that, like 2011,
So you're no
2012.
stranger to the lens, if you will.
No, not at all. And in fact, like I've had contracted work that took me to, you know, England a couple times to do some documentary work there.
That's amazing.
You know, I worked with a nonprofit that just doing editing stuff for Over and Above Africa. It's like a animal sanctuary nonprofit. So, I mean, I've been in the video sector for a very long time, and all hands on deck. And Chris wasn't as much. He got more into it when we met in college, where he started as a graphic designer, which eventually shifted to being motion graphics and animation. So that was a lot of his focus in college. And then him and I worked on countless projects together, music videos, because it was an art school. So we did music videos for the musician, like the music majors, and we videotaped like recitals and things like that, because it was also like, well, it was college, so we had to eat, and they offered us $100 to film their recital. Yeah. So
I'll do it.
It was like, you know, we were like, yeah, sure, totally. And even, you know, I might, you know, if some of my professors are seeing this, I traded video work for papers in college. Just because I was not a paper writer by any means, but a buddy of mine, friends of mine were. So I said, I mean, dude, I'll edit your video if you write my paper.
Hey, that's fair. It's barter.
That's American, right?
That's yeah.
Capitalism,
baby. So I'm curious.
Going back to it, it's like we knew our lanes, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious with all the experience, and it seems like the work that you've had over the years. Like, what was that thing, or that single most thing that made you want to switch gears and hop into disc golf?
It was the community and how it embraced me and how I embraced it. It was like it was literally like a switch got turned on.
Can we say it?
Where,
Will?
like,
We say it all the time. No better community
Yeah, I mean,
in the world.
I moved out. I moved out to Lancaster, and to be closer to my siblings, because we didn't grow up together. So I wanted an opportunity to have a better relationship with them. So I uprooted everything to move out there. But I only knew them and my dad and my stepmom, right? So I didn't have anybody else out there. When I started working at a new job out there, someone said, "Hey, I overheard you say that you play disc golf." I was like, I mean, I play it like a little, like
I've been there.
And he goes,
I know what it is. Frisbee golf, right?
And he's like, you should definitely come out to our league. And then so I did, and the whole group was just so inviting. And then moving back to Philly, things got rustled up a little bit, and then to make a long story short, my life got really dark and hectic for a little bit. It was not a happy picture by any means, and it sounds like so cliche, but like disc golf really did save my life, man. Like it was
it's not cliche, it's just a common tale.
It's truth. Yeah. It's not cliche in disc golf, for sure.
Something that like if I didn't have disc golf and the community to lean on, who knows what I would have done. And then it cleaned me up, and made me a little less sad, a little less mad, and anytime you find something that does that, I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. At least it keeps you less mad for a little while until you get just enough good at it to frustrate you.
Well, it's
like, you're like,
yeah. That's when you like get from your heart, playing with your soul, and for fun you get up here into your head, and you're
body,
like,
soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can throw this, but I can throw that.
It's one of those things. Our tales are two different kinds, but it's the same thing. Without disc golf and the community that was there for me, who knows where my life would be.
True.
And I firmly believe that it would not be in as good of a place as it is, 10 years, forward now that I'm here, wouldn't be in this place without disc golf.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people out there who can accredit that community and that's why I say it hands down, and Will and I talk about it all the time on the podcast.
And I'll tell you, man, it is quite the conversation piece. Like when you go to like parties, like when I go to parties with my wife and her friends and stuff, it's like, because she's a scientist, so her friends
those are fun
parties.
parties.
You're like the comedic relief.
Who's that guy?
I'm right. Well, they're like, what's disc golf? And then of course I'm like, okay, it's my time to shine.
And what's crazy is they're more interested in your conversation.
That's it. You're interested. You can't take it back. I'm going to talk for 4 hours.
Yep. Meanwhile, your wife's like, let's go, honey. Come on.
Yep, exactly. And it's like, oh, I bet I'm going to make you regret asking me that. But
and I don't care.
Did you say disc golf? What would you like to know?
Everything? Okay.
I've also run into people who we have mutual friends, and because they're like, oh, my friend so-and-so, they mentioned
you know them, right?
Do you know them? I actually do know them.
Yes, we do all know each other.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I made you wait before we were able to get you on, and I don't want to take up your whole night because I get the feeling that you had something with your wife that you were doing. So I want to get this out there because this is a big announcement, Music City Open related. NPO 1 coverage, lead card NPO at the 2020 Music City Open will be provided by Gatekeeper Media.
Woo, golf claps.
That guy.
Golf snaps.
Golf snaps. He's above
golf
me.
Snaps.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, super stoked to be a part of that project. First of all, I've never been to the area, so right then and there, really looking forward to seeing the scene, really looking forward to meeting all of you guys in person, and I want to say truly, genuinely, we really appreciate you guys bringing us on for that.
Is he going to be live in the Sapphire Lounge?
I know I can speak for Will.
Yeah, we're going to do this again in person without all the Zoom lag from the crappy Comcast service that we get.
We're going to have you in the Sapphire Lounge.
Also, I'm going to, just so you know, have you ever heard of Big Skinny Commentary? Just throwing that out there. You should probably look that up sometime.
Yeah, me and Jay have dabbled in round coverage commentary
just
from time to time.
Just in case you didn't have a commentary
Big Skinny.
picked out already.
Like, you know Big Sexy.
I know.
But this is Big Skinny commentary, right?
That's right.
Send me some demo tapes.
We got one. We have
There's
one
on
and one
YouTube.
only.
Howard
because
Disc Golf.
We live on the edge.
Can I have your CD?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Autograph, of course.
No, I only want cassette. Only cassette.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, can you format that?
Let's
Can you
VHS
go
that.
reverse?
You know what?
Can you reverse
Let's
it?
VHS that. We'll have
I'm
our
gonna
people do
find
his people.
an 8-track player and an 8-track disc and put it on there. Or is it
There you
called
go.
wait, what is it called? Okay.
Ooh,
I got
that's-
nothing.
What's I think is
That's
cool,
what it is.
Yeah.
real quick, about your passion for the the older stuff and giving it life. Look at records. Look at the vinyl industry nowadays. Like, how many people listened to vinyl 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and now look at the trend. Vinyl's gone through the roof.
Throwing
Yep.
it out.
Yeah.
People throwing it out. The amount of rare
Oh my
records
gosh.
in thrift stores is like mind-boggling.
Yeah,
But so,
unreal.
like, I've fallen off on like the vinyl collecting. My wife
Sure.
is really into that. But my thing is I collect horror movies on VHS.
That's awesome, dude.
That's my jam. So
We have a
anytime-
VHS on our mantle.
We still got one at the house too.
You don't give those things
I
up.
own-
Well,
I
let's
own
give
3
respect to the originator of VHS style graphics and disc golf coverage, Gatekeeper Media. You guys were the first ones to do that. You had the VHS style crackle and pop and all that stuff effects in your coverage.
It runs deep, man. It runs deep. I mean, because I was a video artist for a while as well, doing projection mapping and stuff like that, and I made so much glitch content out of VHS tapes and reel-to-reel and stuff like that. So, like, I was a mad scientist with video for a long time.
I'm assuming that the vintage runs through your soul throughout life, just in general. So I'm assuming you appreciate wonderful music.
That's
as
a
well.
lifestyle choice for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
I like it.
that's exactly it. I'm definitely like an old school kind of guy.
Love it. That's the best, for sure.
Well, dude, do you have anything coming up that you would like? I know you guys are jumping in for D-Glow with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Any other projects on the horizon that you would like to prime the audience for? Anything you'd like to get on the airwaves, feel free to hijack our
Shameless
platform.
self-promotion time.
We're really excited that on Saturday we met up with Andrew Fish at Iron Hill and we did a mic'd up round with him. So please head on over to his Instagram, give him a like, make sure to follow him. This dude is super surgical in the woods, really fun to listen to and just hear his ideal of things. And he's just an awesome character. So I really recommend, just following his stuff along, and also subscribing to us so that you can watch him and his philosophy, as he calls it, his disc golf course philosophy, I think is how he put it. But
Playing the course or designing?
I will say,
Playing.
well, I believe he is designing a course now, but it's him speaking through his round, where we played all long to long position, and he approached it as if it were a tournament. So it's very similar to what we did with Simon. We're just now starting to do that with other players as well. So we have a couple other players lined up that we're going to be doing things like that with when we're on the road. So keep an eye out for that. It's content that, I will say, I want to stake claim to the fact that, expect that you're going to get a lot more mic'd up rounds from us.
Awesome.
It's stuff that we really enjoy filming, even though it kicks my ass. It's super hard being the T camera because my rig is 80 pounds, or I'm not 80 pounds. It's like 50 pounds. Damn. And I'm carrying it like this to follow them. So needless to say, I was dead after long to long at Iron Hill. But I haven't fallen yet. So
don't jinx yourself, bro. Don't jinx yourself. I'm knocking on wood for
That's
you.
PVC.
Now, was that mic'd up coverage of Simon? Was that the one where he happened to be rocking the beautiful MCO blue shirt?
This was an actual round at Maple Hill.
Okay.
That was another thing for Simon's YouTube channel. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it'd be nice to see Simon here again. That'd be cool.
That's been a while since he swung through the old Nashville.
Yeah. But next year is a new year.
Well, this
NT's
year's
back on.
I hate this year. I just don't even want to count it.
No, this year's going to be awesome, man. We're still a USDGC qualifier. Another chance to mention out, hey, the Music City Open is still happening. Still an H here. USDGC qualifier.
And
Weekend
Gatekeeper's
before
gonna be
Jonesboro. Gatekeeper's going to be here. Howard Disc Golf will be doing our FPO1 coverage. So big ups, big love to Howard Disc Golf, Ben Howard in Chattanooga for always doing our FPO coverage. And man, I'm stoked to. Huh?
I gotta show love to the women's cards.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Is Ben Howard going to stay here again?
Yeah, probably.
I would assume, yeah.
I would assume.
Hey,
Why
shout
not?
out to them.
He'll
They
make him
gave-
sleep on the floor in the Sapphire Lounge.
Man,
We got a much more comfortable spot for you to stay, Derek. Don't worry about it.
Ben, that is not true. I got
And that is on the back porch
you-
at the Sapphire
how-
Lounge.
You guys, I got beds for you guys. Will's not gonna put you in the Sapphire Lounge on the floor.
That's how
Come on, Will.
dude. They got to get the full
So, man,
experience.
we've been
They gave us
I mean,
our
we-
break.
we've been-
They gave us our big break.
we've been low budget road warriors for a while. So I mean, going out and just couch surfing for a while and things like that. Like, you know, it's something. It really is.
The best part about couch surfing is you know exactly what kind of couch you're going to buy for yourself.
Yeah, you get the sample, sample the quality. But no, dude, we're super stoked that you're gonna get to be here after all. I was excited to have you guys in town when we first locked down the NT, and after everything that's changed, I'm really glad that we get to have you in town for the MCO experience, and we'll take absolutely great care of you. I assure you.
Yeah.
And yeah, since you're on the road this year, it'd be, you know, if nothing else, we can make sure that your trip out onward to Jonesboro is smooth and comfortable.
Yeah.
And and you know, if you get here early in the week, we've got plenty of other stuff going on that we can give you an opportunity to get your cameras on and stuff. And yeah, I'm just super stoked, man. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to working with you.
The second half of 2020 brings big things.
It does, man. And future relationships.
That'll be the chunk of our season where we're going to be on the road for probably 6 weeks in a row. So,
Gotcha. We got a place where you can shower.
Are not looking forward to that. So, you know, but it's one of those things where hopefully one of these stops we can have, you know, our ladies come and visit and stuff like that. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever you need, man. You know, you just have your people send my people your rider, and we'll get it all locked in.
You got
sure.
people?
Right.
When do we get people?
That means me.
I'll text you.
Yeah, that just means
Yeah,
me.
then-
That guy over there.
I'm our people.
Yeah, and I'm our people.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, at least we know that the right people are
We're
talking.
in good communication
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, it's working already.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful process. It's just simple. It's just a text message away. Miracles. Look at it. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it. I had a blast talking with all yous, and again, looking forward to meeting you in person.
Absolutely,
always.
man. Happy to make that announcement once again. Gatekeeper Media, MPO1 coverage at the 2020 Music City Open.
You okay over there, friend?
Stroked out for a second. I'll be okay. Don't worry about me. It's all that sun I got this weekend.
The second hour is always weird.
He's
Oh,
got freckles now. It's crazy.
I got a sudden injection of vitamin D. And,
He's got one more.
yeah, I
thing.
know.
What's
I'm going to
up?
let him have it.
Isn't there? Aren't there PDGA elections coming up soon?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I keep forgetting about that part.
That's
I am
that's
running
that
for the
guy.
PDGA Board of Directors, and your ballot will show up in your email on July 1st if you are a current PDGA member. Elections will run through the month of July, so your last opportunity to vote will be July 31st. PDGA Radio just recently released a series of interviews with all the candidates that Steve Hill did, and so I've got the longest one is mine. You'll be able to find it. It's the second
Naturally.
interview. Yeah,
That sounds right.
gift of gab, baby. What can I say?
I bet it's
Let's
I
go.
bet it's the best one as far as not being nervous, though.
Is another one of the most one of my favorite other candidates is Mark Oxer. He's been a former guest of the podcast, and he posted. He said, "If you got 6 hours to spare, listen to these interviews." and somebody had posted a joke about it or a little comment about it, and I said, "Well, to be fair, mine's the only one that took 6 hours. The rest of them are like 20 minutes." And
Well, I mean,
so
and
if you're gonna watch if you're
I like
listening to any of them, listen to mine.
I like that you bring up Mark because you know Mark and I have developed a friendship through COVID times as well. So you know, him and I speak you know, semi frequently, and he's a really great dude as well. So
Love him.
Gosh dang
I mean,
COVID.
I love talking to him. We got to have him here in town on his race to most courses played in a year. He came through and played our Wednesday night tag round
Oh
at 7
man,
Oaks.
just
That was
now
the first
dawning
time he was
me,
on our
like,
podcast.
I wonder how that hindered him.
No, I mean he's definitely got the record beat.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
But
Well, he had told me that they did extend the time period.
did they finally extend it?
okay.
I knew he had asked for an extension, but he already. I mean, the
Yeah.
previous record was like 52 or something. So
Oh wow.
And he had crushed it already. So
he was like 160, and he was in Europe, like
Goodness.
7 countries, and yeah, the guy's a beast, man, and,
Yeah,
and just a really knowledgeable, really insightful dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
very, very, very qualified.
Yeah, I'm stoked about all the other candidates, man. I don't see there really being too much of a chance of a negative situation coming out of all this, and it's just awesome to see more interest and more qualified people stepping up to the plate. I'm hoping that a record number of candidates translates to a record number of voters, because typically it's like 16% of the active PDGA membership actually votes in the elections.
That sounds.
Vote
All
up,
right.
baby. Vote up.
Rock the vote.
Rock the
all
vote.
Rock
that.
the vote. Good
They
one.
should send us stickers, and then this, that would get more people out.
Yeah.
It says I voted.
You know, actually, that's a great idea. They really should send out like some sort of voter packet or something.
I mean,
Right.
if you give me
Look at
some
that, we'll make-
stickers, I will do more.
Look at you setting trends over there, Jay.
You have me.
Corner.
I love stickers, so I don't know what to tell you.
I just gotta keep my mouth shut right now. Just
I got some room on my computer. I got some room on my computer here that could.
Dude, we need to send him an MCDG sticker.
Or a pin.
I would love that.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
love that.
we gotta get shirts
Don't
made. Okay.
when we get off here. Don't get off the call, and we'll get your info.
Oh, we'll talk tomorrow too.
Yeah.
It's already getting late. He's got stuff to do. But yeah, I'll get you. I'll hold on to a pin and some other goodies for you. We'll put you a little care package together, a little MCDG care package for when you get to Nashville.
Yeah, maybe like
Podcast care
like a
package?
trade kind of thing.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I like it.
Sweet.
Derek, thank you so much, man. It's been a blast talking to you. As per usual, I'm excited to have you in Nashville doing some video things. And anything else comes up that you would like to get out on the airways and our platform can help, just let us know.
Yep.
So, well, thanks again for the opportunity to speak my mind, and I hope. Well, I was going to say I hope I didn't offend anybody, but if I did, I guess I did.
Well,
Dude,
in the world
it
of
is
I need to-
2020 in America, and
It's okay to
everybody's
be
offended.
I want to finish every episode that way. Can I just steal that?
there is a whole nother need for another podcast that's after dark.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing the after hours. We'll rip off Smashbox, the
Yeah.
after and the
We'll
Disc
have-
Golf Answer Man
we'll have
does the
pseudonyms
after
so nobody
show
knows.
show.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's all. We're always working on something to rip off somebody else. So, Derek, we love you, man. We're excited.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show, and we'll do it again soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Take care.
See you, bud.
See you, buddy. Have a good night. Tell your wife thank you.
Yep.
See you.
Take care, guys.
Let the bass kick.